Good morning. I am back sitting here. Ooh, good to be seen, good to be back. And let me get myself together. All right. So, good morning. Typing in my good morning on Facebook. Let me type in my good morning on Instagram. All right. Post. I'm here hanging out. All right. So, we are here. I'm here. Good morning. Just gonna sit and enjoy my coffee while I give folks time to come on. Good morning, and good morning. So as you come on, type in good morning, give me a wave, let me know that you're hanging with me this morning. Happy Sunday. Good to be back, good to be seen. Got my coffee here, just kind of chilling and hanging out. So Carolyn is on. Hey Carolyn, good to see you. Good to be seen. Carolyn, we have to get together. We don't have anything on the calendar. So that means we are going to have to get together. I'm going to have to get something on the calendar. Let me just check something here. Make sure my sound is up. Yes, good morning, good morning. So as you come on, type in good morning. Ubong's on. Let me know that you're there, ladies. It's good to see you. It is so good to be seen. Happy Sunday morning. What's going on? Again, as you come on, say good morning. Sitting here with my coffee, going to take my time this morning. I'm excited and grateful to be back. Missed you last Sunday. So if you don't have your coffee, go get your coffee because I'm definitely taking my time this morning. Want to make sure you have your coffee and you are all settled in as well. So thanks for getting up and joining me. You know I appreciate you. So again, as you come on, just type in good morning, give me a wave, something. Let me know that you're hanging out with me this Sunday morning. Sitting here taking my time this morning, enjoying my coffee. Got the sniffles a little bit. The allergies, I'm sure. But it is good to be here. It is good to be seen. I hope everybody's enjoying the summer. You know, we're coming up mid-July. Judy, good morning. Good to see you. Good to be seen, ladies. Thank you so much for getting up and joining me this morning. I appreciate you. Sitting here, taking my time. Hey, Crystal, good morning. Good to see you. Ladies, you know I appreciate you. I was in bed this morning. Before I got up, I started thinking about all the things that I'm grateful for in my life. And I gave God thanks because I'm grateful for this platform. And I'm grateful for all of you, for every one of you that show up every Sunday morning. So I was doing my gratitude and just giving God thanks and called out your names too. You know, I'm like, for every single woman that shows up on Sunday morning and hang out with me, called your names out. And yeah, just grateful for the platform. So you were in my prayers this morning, my prayer and my gratitude, showing just gratitude. So, yes, Crystal's on, Janice is on. Good morning, good morning. Good to see you, ladies. Good to be seen. Hey, Megan. You don't have your coffee, get your coffee because I'm taking my time this morning. I'm letting you know. Normally, when I get on, I'm always conscious of your time, don't get me wrong. But today, I am taking my time. So, I have my coffee. I'm sitting here. If you don't have yours, go grab it. You might even want to grab a pencil and a piece of paper. I don't know. But you can always come back and listen to this later. My point is that this morning is going to be one of those that I'm just going to take my time. So thank you for getting up and joining me. You know I appreciate you. I don't take your time for granted. I got it, Megan. I just realized it. She said, watch my notes on the microphone. I realized it, so I picked them up. Because when I go back sometime and listen, I realize that it scratches. So thanks for letting me know, but I caught myself and I picked them up. So I'm going to hold them in my hand. But again, if you don't have your coffee, get your coffee because I'm excited. Number one, I missed you last week. So I hope you had a safe holiday weekend. Good morning, Cheryl. I hope whatever you're doing this summer, I hope you are enjoying yourselves and staying safe. So here we go. I am going to talk today about the inner critic, the saboteur. But first, let me back up and say thank you so much for getting up and joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you. But I want to talk about the inner critic. Now, you've heard me talk about the saboteur before, because in coaching school, we learned about the saboteur. It's that negative inner voice that sits right on your shoulder. It's your voice in your head that tells you that you're not good enough, failure is inevitable, and it really is negative talk, tries to keep you exactly where you are. So I was reading something the other day about the inner critic, and I'm like, well, wait, that's the saboteur. So what I decided to do is some research, like, who is this inner critic? How did this inner critic start? And how can we manage the inner critic? Because it sabotages us. And in coaching, we learned about the inner critic. We called it the saboteur. But they're different names. Inner critic, saboteur, negative self-talk, inner judge. It's all the same. So I use it interchangeably. So that's what I want to talk about today, the inner critic, because it sabotages us. Good morning, MM. So, of course, I went and I looked up, what is this inner critic? What is the inner critic? Here we go. So the inner critic is a term concept in psychotherapy in which an individual degrades and demeans a person. The inner critic is an opinion or inner voice that has a negative and critical pattern of thoughts about ourselves and others. Inner critics are the distressing and disturbing thoughts or voices that lead to self-destructive and dysfunctional or unstable behavior. Inner critics are like dialogues in our head that only criticizes and notices faults of own self and others. And then there are some examples, but the flowing of self-damaging thoughts makes anti-self that demoralizes and disheartens the individual from giving and being his or her best. So that is what the inner critic is. And it's the same as the saboteur. And that's how you've heard me refer to the inner critic. It's that voice. Okay? So how does the inner critic affect us? Because this is what I wanted to, I truly wanted to understand this inner critic, seeing that it's a part of me. It exists in all of us. I decided I'd do some research to understand it a little better. So how does the inner critic affect us? The inner critic is a part of our soul or psychic that condemns and censures our efforts, makes us unhappy, and even sometimes bullies us into assuming that we're not adequately good. The inner critic is continuous judgments that negatively influence our lives and affect our accomplishments. It often leaves an immobilized and degraded impact on us. So we all have this negative self-talk, this inner voice. It's a part of who we are. So I went a little step further. You know I did, right? So where does your inner critic start? Most people think the inner critic is an inseparable part of them. It is not at birth. We did not have the inner critic at birth. An inner critic isn't something we're born with. So I started thinking, well, if I'm not born with it, how did I get it? Why do I have this negative voice? Why do I have this part of me that wants to sabotage me, right? So our inner critic develops in childhood as we hear harsh remarks and criticism from parents, caretakers, teachers, and peers. Hearing the adults in your life speak harshly about themselves can also be the cause. Now, here's what I found so interesting, and this is why I couldn't wait to get on to share it with you today, and here's why I want to take my time. The inner critic started out as a way to protect you from getting into situations that you interpreted as threatening in the past, but it grows to completely take over your life. In extreme cases, paralyze and depress a person. So it started out to protect us. Something happened negatively in our lives. So the inner critic wanted to protect us so that we wouldn't experience it again by telling us something negative. Like if we were rejected, even as a classmate, if you were rejected, the inner critic said, okay, you're not good enough, so you don't do that same thing again. So it started out as a way to protect us, but it just overtook our lives. I thought that was amazing. All inner critics come from a point of fear and feelings of low self-worth. The inner critic tells you all the reasons you're not good enough. It is formed from painful early life experiences when we might have witnessed or experienced hurtful attitudes toward ourselves or those close to us. We unconsciously adopt and integrate this pattern of thought toward ourselves and others as we age. So hearing harsh remarks and criticism repeatedly during childhood can change the way the brain develops. We internalize this harsh language and it becomes part of our inner critic and the filter through which we see the world as we grow into adulthood. It is built over the years as you face situations in your life that scared you or people that criticized you and made you feel worthless. And like I stated a moment ago, even minor events have a great effect, like being rejected by a classmate may have contributed greatly to your inner critic. And the inner critic has a mind of his own. It's that separate voice. So we created the inner critic as a way to protect us, and it just took over. And that's why I couldn't wait to share that with you today. So how does the brain create your inner critic? Now, I just did the research on this. You can go online and do the research. And what I'm sharing with you, part of my experience and my learning from coaching, and part of just the research and part of just having to learn how to deal with my own inner critic. So how does the brain create your inner critic? Now this, I'm just sharing with you from what I pulled off the website, okay, off Google. The brain creates neutral pathways in response to new experiences. When an experience is repeated, the neutral pathway is reinforced, like reinforced behavior. And it gets a little bit technical. It says the prefrontal cortex, which is the area of the brain responsible for conscious decision making and modulating emotions, is not fully developed until the age of 25. I thought that was interesting. Exposure to repeated harsh remarks and criticism during this development time can create a mindset that leads itself to self-limiting beliefs, low self-esteem, anxiety, and depression. So that's how the brain creates the inner critic. And then there are examples of the inner critic. And most of us are familiar with these examples because we've experienced them. It's the internal judge and jury, the inner mean one that tells us, I'm not good enough, I'm a failure, I should give up, I'm fat and ugly, no one likes me, I'll never succeed, I'm useless, I'm weak, I'm crazy, and it's all your fault. Now, can I assume, or is it correct for me to say that we've all experienced the inner critic? Give me a thumbs up. I can give you a thumbs up for me. I've experienced this inner critic, right? So, can I ask you if you've experienced the inner critic or you're struggling with the inner critic? That's mine, thumbs up, because I have. And still learning how to manage it. So if you have, just let me know. And if you have, hopefully this provide some understanding as to what is this inner critic, how it started. Now let's talk about impacts of an inner critic. The inner critic can damage self-confidence and your ability to trust yourself and your instincts, creating an ongoing cycle of self-blame. It allows self-doubt to fester. So just think about how it can impact you. It can also, as I said before, cause depression. The toxicity of repeated negative self-thoughts can produce feelings of helplessness and hopelessness and diminish motivation. Because after you hear it so much, it's your fault, you can't do it, you'll never succeed, you're a failure, you lose motivation because you start to believe what your inner critic is telling you. It weighs on you. Ongoing self-critical thinking can create emotional lows that move into a mental health crisis. Again, like depression or anxiety. Experts on inner critic voice caution that it can have even more serious consequences which exist along a continuum of intensity. So how can you overcome the inner critic? And the reality is the inner critic voice does not disappear, but there are steps you can take to teach your inner voice to show self-compassion and kindness. And this is some of the things, this is what we learn how to manage the saboteur in coaching school. With greater self-understanding and guidance, you can work to distance yourself from the inner circle and hinder its ability to produce negative and judgmental messages. It says, while the inner circle may be strong, it can be calmed by the voice of the inner coach. And that inner coach, number one, can be just the opposite of that critic. So when you hear that little negative self-talk, then you learn to take that negative self-talk and turn it into positive talk. So you can learn how to manage it. The critic may never go away completely, but you can learn strategies to reduce its destructive power. And in doing so, you build neural networks that support your well-being and self-esteem. So just like the inner critic developed over years, you can learn, you can use your inner coach to get stronger over time. So every time you hear something negative, you get to the point you realize it, and then you turn it into a positive. And you just need to practice it. So steps to silence your inner critic voice. Number one is become aware. To become aware of when your inner critic appears. So you know when you hear that negative self-talk, well, that's just my inner critic. And also what you can do, now this is really getting down to paying attention. So you can start thinking about it each time you hear that negative voice. You can be proactive and start thinking about what brought it on. Identify situations, places, people, circumstances. What caused this negative self-talk to appear? And this will help you prepare for it. If you can identify some patterns, people, places, circumstances, situations, then you can start to come up with strategies to alter this negative self-taught. So being aware and acknowledge that the inner critic voice will not disappear. Accept the fact that we all have an ongoing inner dialogue with ourselves that helps govern our thoughts, behaviors, and action. And there's nothing unusual or wrong with this. But you can change how you choose to engage with your inner critic. So now that you know there's that inner critic, you know what caused it, you know it's not going to go away, you know you are not born with it, you can choose how to engage with it. I remember being in coaching school calling it the saboteur. Some people gave it a name. They would send it on vacation, here, treat it as a separate person. Pack your bags, you're out of here. You can practice self-kindness. So when you hear that inner voice, that negative inner voice, practice self-kindness. Show yourself some compassion. Be empathetic toward your behavior, thoughts, and feelings, including self-judgment and self-critical thoughts. Observe and acknowledge it, and then let it go. Treat the inner critic like mind chatter. Oh, this is just chatter. Let it go. Become your biggest advocate. It's there. You know that it's there to keep you where you are, to tell you you're not good enough, to tell you you're a failure. Become a bit your own advocate, which can make you stronger, because when you hear that negative self-talk, do just the opposite, turning it to positive words so that you become stronger and stronger. And you alter negative thinking regarding into positive thinking to create a healthier outcome. Other considerations you can do. Again, try to track down where they're coming from if you can. Think about it. What are some of the triggers? Get to know that inner critic. Then you can start to manage it. Don't deny it. Because I don't know about you, but I haven't been around people that have conversations about the saboteur and managing your negative self-talk. So hopefully this is helpful. It will help you start to manage it going forward. Not deny it because it exists. We all have it. But how do you manage it? First and foremost, being aware that it's that inner critic, right? And turn those negative thoughts, words, and actions into positive words and actions. So you can step back and observe that inner critic. So you become the third party. And then you can start to manage it that way. And it can help you identify with it. Now here's one that I thought was great. Use humor as a coping technique. Imagine your inner critic as a cartoon or fictional character from a movie or TV show. So that's one way to deal with it. Choose a character whose voice you think is silly or ridiculous, right? So that inner critic now become a cartoon. Now that's one way to deal with it. Then you can laugh at it. It's just mindless chatter. It's Bugs Bunny, whomever. In this way, it may be easier for you to dismiss the inner critic. When you start thinking of it as a cartoon and you think of the characteristic of whoever that character that you choose to name it, that cartoon character, it can help lighten it, the emotions. And no one way works for everyone, so you have to find the best way that works for you and redirect your focus to your strengths. That's it. So self-affirmation has also proven to be useful to offset self-criticism. So when you hear a voice saying negative things, see the evidence that refutes it in your mind and redirect again your focus to your strengths. Some find success in addressing the inner critic directly. Because it's trying to prevent us from the ego blow of not being good enough. And you can learn to thank the inner critic because it's trying to protect you. That's one way too. The inner critic started as a way to protect you. So you can thank the inner critic. Thank you so much for that negative whatever. But this is who I truly am. And turn it into a positive. And when you say it and turn it into a positive, use your voice. Use your body. Right? Use your body. You know how to use your body when you want to exude strength? You get all up in there. I'm a failure. No, I'm not. I am strong. Right? So use your body to show that you are strong. That you're passionate, you're positive. Strut your stuff. You know? The inner critic. And then there are therapeutic techniques too, because the inner critic can cause depression or extreme anxiety. So there are different therapeutic techniques, so you may have to seek professional help. And hopefully if you do, now you understand that it's okay. Because sometimes what happens, we let negative things, the inner critic bog us down. We get depressed. It's heavy on us. We get to the point we lose the fight. And if you feel you're at that point, then get professional help. Because there are therapeutic techniques. And we know it can cause deep depression. Because when you hear that negative self voice all the time, and you don't know how to manage it, you don't know how to separate yourself, it can cause depression, and as I was reading, suicidal thoughts. So if you need to get help, please, I hope this was helpful. Give yourself permission. If this is happening and you're at the point where you need help, give yourself permission to get help. And if you are right now battling that inner critic, first and foremost, be aware that it is the inner critic. And it may help you manage it better if you realize and understand that it started as a way to protect you from harm. And it just took over your whole life. Give it thanks. And then start to bid it goodbye. Start to say goodbye to it. It'll never go away, but start to say goodbye to it by learning how to manage it. The inner critic didn't come overnight. So it's not managing and learn how to manage it so you can start to silence it. It's not going to happen overnight. So I hope this was helpful. I was reading something and then I became curious. I'm like, let me find out more about this inner critic that sabotages our lives. Where did it come from? How did it start? And just learning that we're not born with it, and learning that it started to protect us were aha moments for me. And that's why I wanted to share it. That's why I wanted to take my time. So I hope it was helpful to you. I hope it will help you manage it. But give yourself permission if you need to get professional help, because it can be depressing and cause anxiety. but also give yourself permission to become an advocate for yourself. So when you hear that negative voice that tells you it's inevitable, you are going to fail, you get that attitude, I am not. I can accomplish what it is that I desire. I am strong. I am gifted. I am capable. I will keep going. And you're just a bunny rabbit to me with a carrot. Use a cartoon character if need be. So that is, you have the power this morning. I was so happy to be able to share that because I'm like a little child. When I learn something, I can't wait to share it. I get all excited. And I thought this was very powerful because we all have that inner critic. And it may be helpful to someone that's experiencing overwhelming negative thoughts right now from your inner critic. So that's, you have the power. Again, if you need gifts, when I post this, links to my books are there. And if you're interested in coaching, when I post this video, also there's a link to get on my calendar for a free consultation. The other thing, if you think other women will benefit from the messages in the group on Sunday mornings, please invite them to join. I am going to download this one and post it on my business page, One Evolution, because I think this is one that a lot of folks could benefit from. And it's really just me going online and just doing the research because I wanted to understand a little bit more about this inner critic. So I'm just going to check really quickly to see if we have any comments. Hopefully you found this helpful. Got some thumbs ups, absolutely. Some other folks came on, Angela, Wanda, Stephanie Davis. Hey, Paula, good stuff. She said, thank you, from Janice Taylor. Angela Wilson Mooney said, very helpful. Thank you. That is it. Thank you for that message. Hope your birthday vacation was fun for you. Cheers. Thank you, Robin. Ladies, have a wonderful day. Love and blessings. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, if you know someone that could benefit, especially today, about the inner critic, because a lot of us are going through some really hard times right now. Please invite them to join it, and I am going to put it on my business page. Love and blessings to you and your family. Have a great Sunday, and have a great week. See you back here next Sunday. God bless you.